Whispering Woods is ready for the grand unveiling of its biggest attraction. Or nearly ready. Genevieve, Joyce, and the rest of the crew are shocked to hear about the fall of Silvacorp. Thanks to Liam Elliott, who recently sold his shares in the company, Silvacorp is reeling. The value of the corporation plummets, businesses pull out of their contracts, and Sylvester Kane is left grasping at straws. In a last-ditch effort to keep the company afloat, the billionaire agrees to some terms, including the provision of funds towards rehoming the animals Silvacorp's operations have displaced. With the money secured, Anna Kingston jumps at the opportunity to bring education about Silvacorp's harmful practices to the masses. Now that the worst is behind them, Wesley Parsons also has some additional plans. Spurred on by the success of bringing a jaguar to the zoo and the recent engagement of Arthur and Anna, he finally does it. He asks Genevieve on a date. And she accepts. With the animals settled in and daily operations running like a well-oiled machine, it's finally time to open up the South America Dome. Welcome back to Whispering Woods Wildlife Haven. Hey everyone, Sparrow here. Thank you for joining me once more, or if this is your first time, thank you for clicking on this video. It's never too late to tune in, even though we are basically finishing a segment of the zoo today, or at least trying to. We have a few more things to add to the South America Dome, including this tropical butterfly house, which will sort of be in the backstage, and another habitat that I hope to use rotationally with a habitat that already exists in the South America Dome, as well as more of a museum style segment where people can learn more about the culture of the South American peoples. So that is the plan for today. In between these building segments, we will be touring the South America Dome, so make sure to watch the whole thing. I really appreciate if you watch from start to finish. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm, so thanks for watching. Anyway, we are starting on this tropical butterfly house. You can kind of see the exhibit box in the background there, using lots of metal beams and the netting pieces as the main structure of the butterfly house. I figured netting would work better, seeing as the dome is already made of glass, and glass on glass would make the butterfly house really hot, probably hotter than we want. We hate when things don't line up properly, so we're gonna have to fix that. But once that's fixed, we're building a single section of the greenhouse first, and then once I'm happy with this one segment, we'll be able to copy it along the length of the exhibit box so that we can create sort of our own custom look for this greenhouse. I don't love how blocky they are originally, so that's why I'm doing it custom. And also because it makes for better viewing opportunities for you, I guess. So here is my one section. I'm copying it across. It didn't quite line up properly, so a little bit of fiddling this way and that, but that looks pretty good. I'm gonna make sure it's nice and centered. You can see that I've laid out some stones inside of the butterfly house, and that's to provide these sort of fake pathways that guests can take throughout the greenhouse. Obviously, in a game, the guests will stick to that main path going straight through, but in my mind, they can wander off that path as long as they stay out of the vegetation and on those rock-lined paths. So here is the front facade of the greenhouse. Just trying to get these panels to line up. I did my best. There are a few little parts that aren't filled in, but I don't think you can see them too much. And then just outlining all of it with these secondary metal beams. We're gonna have a filter over top of the doorway, and then we have this sort of chain link curtain. I didn't want to use the PVC curtain, so I thought this would make a fun change, just rotating them this way and that so they don't all look the same, and then I can slide that over to fill in the whole entrance. And this is just to make sure that the butterflies don't escape the greenhouse, but so that they're also not hurt by the curtain. With our double entrance way set up, I can copy over those pieces that we've made along the entire length of the exhibit box and then double up that facade to the back so that guests also have a way to exit the greenhouse. I imagine this greenhouse would be more so of a backstage thing, but part of this sort of guest experience. But basically the staff would be growing additional tropical plants back here, things that might be used elsewhere in the South America Dome. Our finishing touch here are these colorful banners. If you've ever looked at pictures of South America, you'll see a lot of very bright colors, and that's what we're looking for here. So let's go check out the first part of the South America Dome. On our tour today, we have our fusas to the left and our lions to the right. I believe they're all asleep right now, as cats do. But we need to focus on the South America Dome. The geodesic dome is self-supporting, so we don't actually need too many support structures. The support structures themselves are the white frames around the glass, which gives the geodesic domes this very modern look. And I really love the way it turned out. So here is our flamingo boardwalk. All of our amazing flamingos. These guys need at least 20 in their social group to be happy, so there are so many of them in here. All of our chicks grew up. I think we might have some new chicks coming in soon. That is our Caribbean-inspired colonial mansion as their backstage area. Little sombrero on the balcony. These guys are super fun to watch, and I love all of the color variations that we have in the American flamingo. Moving on to their secondary indoor space, we have some more viewing. This is also more of a Caribbean style colonial building. They walk into this building through that waterfall frame. I think it looks quite nice. Over there is our pangolin. Just behind that, you can see the Lara Gibbon treehouse. And then over there is our lemur house. As we wrap around the building, we get another look into the flamingo enclosure. Oh, there is a little baby in here still. Look at him go. This has filled out really nicely with the addition of the lion habitat right behind it. More to come over there. And as we step off of the flamingo boardwalk, we are actually right across from the viewing area for the bush dogs. And there they are, look, putting on a show for us. They do have a double enclosure, so this is their first enclosure, and through that gate there, they can go into the secondary enclosure. We actually have 3 females in here right now, so no breeding population, but they are the best of friends and they love playing with each other. But wait, that's not all. If we take this path past the pangolin building, we do get another view into the bush dog enclosure. A lot of this stuff here I still need to fill up with plants and maybe another backstage building, not sure yet. From here you can see the back of the markhor and takin enclosure. But up this way we get a great view of their second enclosure. Just love the way this turned out. Nice shaded viewing for the guests, but plenty of sunlight for the bush dogs. Sometimes you can catch a glimpse of them up on that stack of rocks over there as well. Had a lot of fun with this one. There is one more viewing area just around the corner here, where you can see them up on top of their rock if they are willing, or playing around in their tunnel. And from here, there is a secondary entrance into the South America Dome, but for now, we need to get back to building. The exterior of the South America Dome may be complete, but the interior work continues. First, I'm going to build up some panels, which will be the backdrop for the artifacts displayed here. This is sort of the museum portion where people can come learn more about various Mesoamerican cultures, including the Incas, the Mayans, the Aztecs. I will admit I do not actually have that much knowledge about the differences between these cultures. It's not the portion of the world I live in. I would love to learn more, and I would love to travel to South America eventually. Don't know if South America is achievable right at this moment. If you follow my channel, you may have seen a few posts last week and you would know that I just got back from my honeymoon in Alaska, which was lots and lots of fun. Yes, she's officially married. So very different locations, Alaska and South America, but both with lots and lots of things to learn. For now, this is our display section. So I'm creating a raised platform where our artifacts will sit. The artifacts themselves were created by other creators. So Akhenaten Gaming has some amazing blueprints, as does Captain Callum with his Inca blueprints right here. So those will go all over these raised platforms, and some of them will require display cases, such as this one. So these display cases are created out of plastic rectangles, which you see me moving around here, the thin glass pieces, and the new LED pieces that we got in the Asia Animal Pack. I've heard a lot of complaints that people don't know how to use these, but they are such an amazing small piece. You can turn the light off, you can recolor them to whatever color you want, and that is how I did the framing of this display case. Very useful piece. It's very small, also very short because it's small, but you know, you just double it up since we don't have scaling. So yeah, that is one way you can use the new LED pieces, and there is one more coming up in just a second here. The items displayed in these cases include some record-keeping devices, some necklaces, we have some plates in the background there, and then I believe there's also some copper medical tools, which are really cool. Of course, we want to make sure our guests are not touching these items, so we will have some signage on this table. And here is the other way I like to use the LED pieces. They make for a perfect backdrop for creating your very own informational signs. These are the Fiesta pieces from the America Pack, which I know people have found a lot of uses for, but they work really well for creating fake text as well. So this is the slightly thicker fixture plate. And then we also have this pin that we can sink in just slightly to create smaller lines of text underneath. Normally I would use the New World brackets. We've had those since the base game, I'm pretty sure, but I wanted to try something a little bit different, play around with the new packs. And another use for said LED pieces, we no longer have to make squares out of font pieces. We can just use a single piece, again, turn the light off, change the color, whatever you'd like, and there you go. You have your very own educational signage. So those of you complaining that you don't know how to use the LED pieces, here you go. One final sign made of the LED pieces and Fiesta fixture plates. This will be for the larger artifacts. But while I finish this off, let's talk travel. So Alaska was absolutely gorgeous. The nature, the wildlife, the culture we got to experience, it was just phenomenal, and I would highly recommend. And funnily enough, Alaska, at least the places we visited, is not as cold in the winter as where I currently live. They just get a lot less sunlight, so I don't know if I would trade that. But that was a fun little fact to find out. We got to see whales, we got to see stellar sea lions. Those guys are massive. We got to tour an oyster farm. That was a very fun behind the scenes thing to witness. We got to go on a beautiful train ride to the White Summit Pass, and it was just honestly so amazing. I, again, would highly recommend. Going to Alaska also just reminded me of how big tourism is as an industry. And I had already started building sort of this backstage guest experience at Whispering Woods, but being in Alaska and experiencing tours myself really helped me sort of flesh out what exactly would be back here, what sorts of experiences I would want for the guests in Whispering Woods. I'm incorporating a few more cultural elements before we move on to the next part of our tour. This is a sun that will be on the floor of the entrance area. The sun is a very important symbol in a lot of Mesoamerican cultures because it was believed that the world or time was divided into 5 different parts and that they were currently living in the 5th sun, which was a time that could potentially come to destroy the world, and that's why human sacrifices were a thing, because they thought that that would help to stop the apocalypse. So, I hope you enjoyed that little fun fact. We are working on our entrance sign for the South America experience. This is a beautiful font off of the workshop. All workshop items you can find in the link down in the description. This will be our grand entrance into this additional guest experience, the South America experience, where you can learn more about conservation, about culture, about all of these things that really help to make things more real to visitors. But the South America experience is not quite yet ready to be opened, so let's go tour the rest of the interior. Welcome to the South America Dome. We have educators waiting to see if we would like to learn more about the South America experience. But if we would like to do our own tour, we can go right down this pathway and get started with the first enclosure, which is for our sloths. These guys really just love chilling out in their enclosure. I like how I was able to create a sort of fake exhibit. This is the walkthrough exhibit, but it doesn't look like it would be because of the way it's been designed, and I really, really enjoy that. On the other side, we have our giant anteater. Let's see if we can spot him. Oh, there he is. Might have a better view from this viewing window here. Oh, yeah, there he is, drinking his water. This was the enclosure where I decided to download the grass mod so that I could put grass in it because it felt very, very unfinished. And then of course we have one more viewing area. I think this corner of the enclosure is my favorite part of this habitat. Moving on, staff only area, we're going to continue down this bridge. We can peek on over. This is supposed to be implied mesh over top to see the Saki monkeys. And the spectacled bear should be somewhere in here as well. Really loved putting together these climbing frames. They were so much fun. I just wish the animals used them a little bit more often. There's our Andean or spectacled bear in the back. Very interesting to note that spectacled bears and Saki monkeys are kept together in zoos in real life. I did do my research, but this was also the reason why we switched over to sandbox mode, because in challenge, the spectacled bear would in fact hunt the monkeys, and we did not want that. Some exhibits. I know a lot of people don't love creepy crawlies, so we will spare the details here. Hope most of you like iguanas though. There's our endangered Antillean iguana. And then I divided up the Goliath bird eater exhibit into two separate ones right here. And here is our jaguar area. This mosaic is off of the workshop, very beautiful piece. And here is our first viewing opportunity for the jaguar. Has a little stream running at the front. Nice hill that takes him up to the overpass that allows him to go to the opposite side of the enclosure. One final little viewing area for the monkeys and the Andean bear. You can get down on their level. We need to continue on down this elevator. And we pop out on the lower level right next to our caiman viewing area. These guys don't do too much other than floating around, but they are quite fun to watch. And I love the way the roof shadows sort of crisscross on the glass. Very pretty. On the opposite side, we have some tree frogs. I believe these are the golden poison frogs. We have axolotls, which primarily live in Mexico, but I thought this was a cool addition to this section. And we have red-eyed tree frogs in case that wasn't obvious. All right, back up the stairs. We will come out across from the sloth enclosure over there, and right next to another viewing opportunity for our caimans. Sometimes they like to splash around in their mud puddle here, or you can get a slight view of their feeding area all the way back there. Also a very big fan of the way that jaguar jungle looks above all of the other enclosures. Up this boardwalk, lots of boardwalks here apparently, we have our pampas grassland. And all of our rheas are out and about, all 4. And there should be a tapir in here as well. I believe we just saw our jaguar somewhere up there. That is its overpass into the second part of the enclosure. Love that tree up there, especially with all of the growth on it. One of my favorite parts of this entire dome. As we continue down this boardwalk, we have our capybara hot springs. Really love this planter. I think it is so cute. The capybara statue looks so zen. And here is the real thing. Our capybara is just meandering in the back there. They have a private hot tub up here, or hot spring. Oh, and we have one down here in the little creek too. Adorable. We have another viewing area here where we can see the capybara underneath their hot taps and sometimes poking out over the vegetation there. They do use these steps to get from one pool to another, but I'm willing to bet that most of them are actually asleep in their hut right now. Oh, guess they're not, but they are all wandering the back of their habitat. And this one looks like they're about to take a snooze. From here, we can head out the secondary set of doors and go see the bush dogs again, or we can turn right around and visit our ocelot. This beautiful water feature at the front. I love when the ocelot is right on top of it. And the way those tamarind flowers are so bright up against it. Our ocelot is quite hard to spot, usually slinking around back there, but sometimes you get lucky. And there is another small view into the enclosure and their feeding area. On the opposite side of the path, one last view into the pampas grassland. Perfect timing. And you might be able to spot the jaguar at times because they like to spend a lot of time over here in their pool and with the scratching post. Last bit of building, I promise. One of the things I associate most with South America are these colorful styles of houses. You will see streets just absolutely lined with these beautifully bright buildings, and I really wanted to incorporate that into this experience. The colors will change as you will see on the screen. I did use a couple of reference images. It looked like most of these houses had a lot of colonial elements, which would make sense seeing as they were colonized, and lots of these molding pieces, lots of wrought iron. Used a lot of the new Fiesta pack pieces, but also a lot of the classic theme. Wasn't exactly sure where this lamp was supposed to go. I liked it better on the curlicue, so that's where it's gonna go. Added a little window box for some greenery, and then completely tore it apart for the next section so that I could make it different and it wasn't just cookie cutter all the way along. I decided that it would be fun if the animals kept here could actually climb through this window, so I had to make sure that it wasn't just a window piece stuck onto the plaster wall, but it was actually open in order to get these animals to move through. This enclosure, which we won't show the whole build of, but I imagine that this enclosure would be used rotationally with the Saki and spectacled bear enclosure so that we could potentially move monkeys around just to give guests even more exposure to all of the various species found in the amazing South American continent. And with that, let's check out the South America experience. All right, a little bit underwhelming at first, I will say, but we do get a view into the Rhea and Tapir backstage. You can even see him wandering off. And then the actual South America experience. So we can check in for the tour here. While we wait, there is a beautiful diorama of Machu Picchu right here, hidden in this flower bed. Or we can choose to sit on one of the many benches dotting this plaza. Of course, we can also check out some of the Mesoamerican artifacts. We have plenty of pottery, some pan flutes, necklaces, canvases, statues. These are those copper medical devices I was talking about. They are so cool. And of course, llamas and capybara effigies, because those were very important. Finally, we can enter the butterfly house. These banners are off of the workshop as well. Make sure you go check them out. And through our double curtain, we step into a tropical butterfly paradise. We can go walking along these fake pathways, take a look at some of the butterflies up close. And just generally meander all the way around. Discover some more artifacts hidden away, this beautiful planter. More educational signage, or just get lost in the foliage while hunting for butterflies. Once we have sated our butterfly addiction, we step out into a South American street full of beautiful, bright colors. And one last surprise, a spot for our capuchin monkeys, who can be rotated on and off display with our saki monkeys, or kept together. This is the perfect backdrop for these little guys. They look so cute in here. We can take a peek into the rest of their enclosure there. Also have some more artifacts here. Note, for display only, not real gold, but it does look pretty cool at night. Some more peek-through windows into the monkey enclosure. Lots of climbing platforms with a lot of various colors once more. Trying to keep it nice and colorful in here. And as we say goodbye to our beautiful South American street, we have a few more surprises left, including some more information, a beautiful fountain, and one last viewing window for our monkeys. I, again, am not the biggest fan of monkeys, but there's something about little monkeys that just makes them so much cuter. It's always fun to watch them climbing all over the place. One final stop before we leave the South America experience, and that is a small gift shop where you can pick up some souvenirs from your experience before heading out, or you can choose to take one final look at the backstage area for the Saki Monkey and the Spectacled Bear. So that is all I have for you today. The South America Dome is finally done, which means that Whispering Woods is slowly coming to an end, but I still have a few episodes up my sleeve, so make sure to hit that subscribe button so as not to miss the finale. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please make sure to leave a like and a comment, or if you want to support me a little extra, you can join the nest and have your name featured up here on our members wall. I'm going to leave you with a quick fly-through of the brand new South America experience. I hope you enjoy. See you next time. Bye.